Is up, everybody? It is I, the JUICEman3941. Welcome to the Gaming Round Table. Pull up a chair if you're able. Have a cold one with me. We're going to get a little bit of broadcasting here. As you can see, Evolve is playing, which means I have a subject to talk about. This is episode 19. I hope you liked the last episode 18 called The Same O, where I give my opinionated view about a lot of different games. I want to give a shout out to Post-Human Guy of the Unpaid Gamers. Check us out, Unpaid Gamers on YouTube. You'll see a little stick-like looking guy pointing in a direction with a big oval head. That's us. Check us out. This is my Gaming Roundtable, and I want to welcome you to episode 19 called Two Companies, Two Problems. That's right. But before, I want to get into a little bit of this right here. That's very good. All right. A little liquid courage. Konnichiwa, my fellow gamers and gaming community. Welcome to the Gaming Roundtable. Again, episode 19. Two companies, two problems. First company I want to focus in on, catching up a lot on what's been happening in the world of Anthem. Yes, BioWare's Anthem, a tumultuous game that has gone through a lot of problems, and now the roadmap has been delayed a great long while, perhaps. They introduced one new stronghold. We may not see Cataclysm and a lot of the other things. BioWare, I want to start, everyone knows from Jason Schreier's article that they had all these problems with mismanagement. They weren't sure what type of game they were trying to make. They weren't really well versed in Frostbite. That's why they had problems with Andromeda, although Andromeda was a different type. There was BioWare Montreal, BioWare this, and there's only two BioWares now. There was three companies. Now there's two. That's under the EA blankership. EA was basically wanting them to make a live service game. That's what they asked for. That's what they wanted. BioWare has very little experience in this. They're mostly story-driven narrative games. Not used to using the Frostbite engine. So on and so forth. And this is stuff that I'm not going to rehash. And now that the numbers are dwindling, apparently it's taking some people as long as 20 minutes to matchmake because the player base is gone. I don't know how many times I've loaded into the game now, and I'm the only one flying around Bastion in that particular instance on that particular server. And that's, again, love the flight, love the combat, but it is kind of weird and kind of lonely right now, strangely enough. I want to talk a little bit about how BioWare, not having the courage, spineless bastards that work there, some of them anyway, they didn't have the courage when EA came to them and said, hey, we want you to make this live service game. We want you to use the Frostbite engine. It would have been nice if BioWare said, hey, look, we don't have a lot of experience with the Frostbite engine. We don't have a lot of experience in making a live service game or MMO-like type games. We have very little experience in this. And been upfront to EA about it. Of course, they probably said, no problem, because EA funded all of that money to them to make this game happen, but look how that turned out. I don't understand why a developer can't simply just be honest with the publisher and say, we can't make this game. This is going to be very, very difficult for us to do. BioWare had little experience with the Frostbite engine. Another company had experience, and we know that other people were pulled to work on Anthem and vice versa, or pulled off the team, because Frostbite is designed for first-person shooters. It was specifically designed for a particular type of genre of game. It is not designed for third-person. It's not designed for a platformer. It's not designed to run 2.5D games. It is not designed for anything like that at all. It is strictly first-person shooters. And yes, it can do third-person, as in the case of Star Wars Battlefront. Nevertheless, it's still primarily designed for shooters. And while Anthem is a shooter, it is a very different type of game. You fly around. There's a lot involved. It's not designed for, I think, live service. It's an engine designed for it to do a few things very, very well. And BioWare, not having that experience, should have went to EA and said, we can't do this game. Or we can, we need a lot more time. Instead, EA, they just said, sure, we'll make it. And then and EA may not have known that there was a lot of management issues. People had left, people were coming and going, all the stuff that Jason Schreier talked about. And it's a real shame, because I don't understand why BioWare just couldn't tell EA, look, we are not familiar enough to make a game that you're asking. I wish BioWare would have put their foot down, their lead director, the person who was over BioWare, whoever, and said, look, we're not going to make the game you want us to make. We want to make Anthem how we showed at E3. You'll see the weapons you get when you get them in the wild. You'll actually see them. You'll be able to equip them. There'll be much more dynamic world, more narrative driven, not this weirdly MMO type of game kind of thing. And it's not that I find Anthem bad. Everybody knows that I enjoy the game, but I find it sad that here's a game that I feel within the next 6 months they'll shut down the servers. All these people who have bought this game are now going to be under this particular instance where they will not be able to play it. I doubt BioWare will take the time to make the game 100% offline. It actually only takes, according to some sources I've seen recently on the internet, that it only takes a few days, sometimes just a few weeks, to make the game fully offline and function and still do everything it does on the online. But most companies will just shut that down, and everyone that spent $60 in this game and what they have done on it is it's just a waste. It's a shame. BioWare's game deserves better. And I never want to say that the game, a lot of people say, well, it has potential. No, it had potential. Not has, had. And with them delaying the roadmap and delaying the stuff that's going to come out, it makes you wonder, is anybody really working on it? Is there only a handful now? Have they moved on to other things? Have they pulled off to work on the next FIFA, the next this, the next that? I don't know. We don't know. And I think it's a shame adding one new stronghold with a new boss. Again, the strongholds in the game were sort of tied into the story. I haven't played the new stronghold because I can't. Finding people to even populate it is very difficult, even on the higher difficulties. And it's just one of those things. Like, what do you do in this particular case? I don't know. I think Anthem's community has dwindled. There may be only a few thousand people playing at this point. I'm under the impression that it is. I haven't got any real data or seen any real data on that. But this one particular company should have stood their ground to EA and said, we are not making the game that you want us to make. If we make the game we want to make, you're going to make lots and lots of money. You're going to make so much money because that's what people want, a narrative-driven, story-focused. That's what people love. Look, you told us to kind of do some of that in Andromeda, and look what happened there. Yes, we still had that, but it was not the same. You tried to make it too open, to this, to that, and you have caused the problem with the game, and the game failed. You're going to make us fail if we do it this way, and it's failed. And I wish BioWare would have had the guts, the balls, the steel, the cojones, whatever you want to call it, to just tell them, we don't have enough experience with Frostbite, we don't have enough experience with this, we are having a hard time, we're not getting like a clear direction from the upper management at BioWare, what they're wanting, what they were told. We need more time, or let us use the Unreal Engine, let us use something that's more familiar to us. And EA just, they're partially to blame, but at the same time it sucks because this one company, we're going to lose Anthem. Anthem will be gone, and it will be a footnote in the history of this company, and EA will probably most likely shut them down, as they do every other company that's ever came under their blanket, from Visceral to Maxis and so on and so forth. This is one company that could have stood their ground. We're making the game how we wanted to make, originally intended, and it just didn't happen. They're not even standing their ground on Dragon Age 4. which basically they said, we want you to make like Anthem. I do not want Dragon Age to turn into Anthem. I do not want to fly around on a dragon. I do not want it to be some weird non-narrative. Dragon Age needs to be left alone. Inquisition was a huge seller for them, and it made a lot of money for them. Why EA is so insistent on everyone making a particular style of game. Funny though, they're letting Respawn make a solo, single player, no multiplayer, no microtransactions, standalone Star Wars title. They're okay with Respawn doing that, but they don't want BioWare to. And that makes very little sense to me. I think BioWare should stand up to EA and say, no, we are not doing this. They also need to just cut loose on the loot and try to reel in some more players. Stop trying to savagely curtail the loot in the game. You know everyone that's what they want, and yet you do nothing about it. And I think it's a sad thing when you have a company that could do 2 or 3 things and would fix a lot of the problems and might be able to garner a good comeback with Anthem, and they just refuse to do it. I don't know what's going on with BioWare. As a matter of fact, I wish I knew what was going on with BioWare. I don't think anybody really does. That's the worst part about it. That's the first company I'm going to talk about, and that's one of the problems, several of the problems that are facing them. The second company I'm going to talk about, which may ruffle some feathers, but I don't care because I don't care. I don't get sponsored. I don't get ad revenue. I do this for free. It's my internet. I pay for it. I pay for the PlayStation. I play for all this. I am through the Unpaid Gamers, but I am going to talk about this because it's very, very important to me, so people can understand. I want to talk about NetherRealm Studios, and I want to talk about how they handle Mortal Kombat 11's insane grind. First of all, I want to get this out of the way. Mortal Kombat 11's story mode is fantastic. It is really, really good. X got a little wonky, but Mortal Kombat X's was really, really good. Mortal Kombat 9's, or just, it's not really 9, but they call it Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat, that came out on 360 and PS3, was really, really good. Mortal Kombat, I think 11's story is better. And it's kind of funny that they did the time travel thing, considering that, you know, in-game does the time travel thing, but I think it's the next logical step, and I think it's really nice how they tied in X with that, and they did a great job of introducing new characters, new and old. I love the graphics are fantastic, the sound effects are fantastic, the straight up normal just battles, fighting each other, fatalities and all that other stuff, always on point. It's got a great, I feel like the only thing is there's a hair of a lag in the special moves going into combos. Other than that, the game is solid. It's rock solid as far as its fighting mechanics, its sound design, its graphics, its lighting, its voice acting. I even really like Ronda Rousey's debut as Sonya, although I think she hasn't done a lot of voice acting. I think that's about it for her. I think this one game, but I do like it. It fits the character and seems to work. So I want to put all that aside. It is an excellent game when it comes to that. My issue I take with NetherRealm is the fact that it seems like to me, and I saw this on an episode, a YouTube episode of Maximilian Dude. I really like his channel. He does a lot of fighting stuff, and they were talking, one of his friends was talking about, they were talking, 3 of them together, talking about the grind, and one of them said that he kind of feels like since the game has been in development for a little while, X came out, 2 years ago, whatever it was, maybe 3, and it basically states that you almost feel like that there was going to be loot boxes, and then they were taken out, and they were left with this weird thing. Like it's not, their grind and the stuff they do is not predatory like most games. It's not like a Battlefront 2 or other things like that, but the grind is someone figured out for just the skins alone. Every character has 50 skins, and the amount of characters was like 3,500 hours plus. Now I don't think everything should be handed to you. I understand that Mortal Kombat X had a $20 thing and you could just unlock everything, and I think that's fine. You don't have to go that route. But I also feel like that when this doesn't have that. And I feel like the rewards, and I know that Ed Boon has addressed this, and they're supposedly going to patch it, and they're going to have like everyone's going to get a bunch of coins and a bunch of time crystals or whatever they're called, and all this other stuff. Nevertheless, it still doesn't fix the fact that I don't think anyone's mad that they just want to get everything very easily and very quickly. I think why a lot of YouTubers, a lot of gamers, a lot of Mortal Kombat fans, including myself, was like, I'm not going to play Mortal Kombat for the next, year, because there is so much other stuff coming down the pipeline. I won't have time to devote to get it all. And that's just the skins. I'm not talking about the gear. Every character in the game has 2 gears unlocked, like 2 masks, 2 weapons, 2 whatever. And that's great, but there's every character I think is like 30, and those are found either through various time towers and stuff like that, or in the crypt. But the thing is I played the game for 6 hours, and going through the crypt with what coins I start, because I bought the game, I got 100,000 coins to start, which wasn't really shit in the game, honestly. I only had a little under 100 time coins, chrono crystals, whatever they are, to unlock stores in the skins in the store. Sorry, flip that. And the funny thing about that is there's only 5 things, and they rotate like every 8 hours. So if there was like a really cool Kano skin, and you didn't have the chrono coins or the time crystals or whatever, the blue little gems to unlock it, which takes 500, you would have to wait until that skin came back up. And if you didn't buy it then, it may not come up for a while. It could be a week before you see it again. It could be a month, because there's just so much. And they only have 5 things on the store. It's not everything on the store at once. And it's on a timer. I think that is ridiculous, because you're just making people wait. It could be, and it literally could not. Like, this cool Raiden skin may not show up for a week. It could be 2 weeks. It could be longer than that. You don't know, because everything's on this weird RNG timetable. It's very mobile-like in that sense, and I think that was the wrong way to handle Mortal Kombat 11. And the other problem is that, if you had to buy, like, just the skins, or buy enough crystals to be able to get all the stuff that's available, because every character has 50 skins. Someone figured out it was like $6,500+. That game's not worth $6,000. Just for a lot of the skins are palette swap skins at that. So if you do a little math here, I'm gonna get my calculator out. If you do a little math, and let's say it's 3,500 hours, and you played, let's just say 4 hours every day, which is a respectable amount. Right, so 35. Let's say it's 3,500 even. Let's see, divided into 4 equals. So you would be having to play for 875 days. 875 days. 365 days in a year. So let's do that math. So 365 times 2 would be 730. So you would be playing basically for 2.5 years of that game. That's if you played it every day for 4 hours. I mean, every day for 4 hours, and that's ridiculous. 2.5 years. You would have to play it every single day, Sunday through Saturday, every day for 4 hours for 2.5 years, just to get the skins. Are you really going to play Mortal Kombat 11 for 2.5 years? Really? That is ridiculous. Which means in order to circumvent that process, you'd have to double up and play it for 8 hours a day, just to make, instead of 2.5 years, it'd be a year and a half. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not that people are mad that they have to play the game and they don't have it's just mad that they have to, it takes so long to unlock everything. And some of the stuff in the store costs 750 chrono coins or whatever. You can't buy 750 coins. You had to buy 1,000. You had to spend $10. You can't buy 750. You had to buy $10 worth, which is 1,000. That's ridiculous. And just for some skins or just for some other unlocks. Now the time, and then of course to take the time towers involved, where they had these crazy weird modifiers like Scorpion, every time he hits you it's poisoning, but it's also raining acid. You're like, every time Scorpion hits you, you catch flames, I mean, and then it's also raining acid. You're like, and then they tell you in order to circumvent all that, you got to get these augments, and the augments take forever because each piece of gear you got to level up not once but 3 times. You get augments in the crypt and I guess other ways, and that's again a crapshoot because one crypt location chest is different for me than it is this next player versus this next player versus this next player. They made the grind on purpose. Now it's not predatory because you can only buy those time coins, those chrono crystals, whatever the hell they're called. You can only buy that, but it's still ridiculous. It's a problem. It makes you wonder that if they don't add any more microtransactions to it, what's the point of trying to force people into grinding that long? People will be burned out by the game. Burned out. I played Injustice 2 for the same amount of time, 6 hours, versus Mortal Kombat 11. I unlocked several pieces of gear. I leveled up not 3 different characters, two levels a piece. I mean, this is after 20. I was able to unlock, it's just, I got a bunch of stuff, and I got like 2 gold mother boxes, 5 bronzes, 2 silver, and I got a lot of stuff just for that 6-hour play. Where my play in Mortal Kombat 11, I barely got anything. Even out of the crypt, I got nothing. I got artwork. I got 1 augment for a character that I don't even use, and I can't, and it doesn't have a leveled up mask. The game literally is forcing you not just to play other characters that you may not really care about or you don't really want to play as, just to level up their gear, and you got to level up 3 times. And like Frost was like, the second level was 15,000 experience, and the next one was 35,000. It's just too much. It's too much grinding. The grind is absurd. Even if they were really generous with like the normal coins, even if you like every time you beat a character, let's say just one-on-one fighting, you got 5,000 coins, it still isn't even enough. They remember that number I said, 3,500 hours just for the skins. If you play just 4 hours a day, that's 2.5 years. Nobody is going to play Mortal Kombat 11 a year from now. They will be so burnt out by trying to unlock all this shit. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's way worse. I had everything unlocked in Mortal Kombat 9 within a couple weeks of playing. I think that's reasonable because it's a fighting game. It's a fighting game, right? That's reasonable. Mortal Kombat X had a lot of unlocks, but again, I bought the XL version for $5 digital. It still gave me a lot more in a span of a week than I could ever get out of MK11. And I understand they're going to address this with updates or fixes or whatever the hell they're doing, but I'm telling you that it doesn't matter. You still made the only way to truly fix this problem that NetherRealm has created with Mortal Kombat 11 is to be incredibly generous with everything. Like every time you do the fatality, you get 5 hearts. Every time you do this, you get 6 of these kind of currencies. There's like 5 different currencies in the game, which is, again, it seems like it's almost like a mobile game. They even advertise the mobile game. Download the mobile game. You want to link it to your mobile game? No, I don't. And it's like they would have to give you like 10,000 or 15,000 coins every time you faced one opponent, just so you could have enough coins to have fun in the crypt. Even with 100,000 coins in the crypt, I had that shit spent in like 7 minutes. That's no fun. There's no exploring there. That's not enough time. I should be able to wander around longer. Or you have to keep the rewards the same and make everything cost a shitload less. Make it to where skins are 100 chrono coins. Cool, I can get 5 skins for the 500 that I have. That's what it should be. Either increase how much you get or drastically decrease. Make it to where chests in the crypt are like, oh wow, that's only 500 or 600 or 800, and I'm getting like 5,000 a pop every time I beat one of the story towers. And don't have those stupid augments in the tower times. And the town towers also makes you spend 25,000 gold simply for unlocking a character tower. There's like 23 characters in the game. Do that math. 23 times like 25,000 coins. I think it's 23 characters in the game, and let's just say I'm right about that. 23 times 25,000. This is to unlock every single character tower would be 575,000 coins. Do you know how long it would take to earn that many coins in that game? That is ridiculous. Let's say on the average you only get 5,000 per like easy tower in the store where you unlock the stories. The regular towers, not the towers of time, the regular towers, you get 5,000. Do that math. It is ridiculous. People will be so burnt out on this game. By the time that they unlock it, they will not even want to fucking ever play it again. I know I would. I'm not asking NetherRealm to give me everything and make it easy. I'm not playing a game for 2.5 years for some fucking palette swap skins. That is the second company that I wanted to talk about, and the problem. They need to either up what you earn or decrease what things cost. Other than that, the game is going to be unbalanced on that end. It sucks too, because behind all that is this amazing game. This has been episode 19 of the Gaming Roundtable. If you catch us on the Unpaid Gamers, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to the channel, and please hit that like button. Please let me know if you want me to talk about anything coming up in the future. Please feel free to drop me a line at the Gaming Roundtable. I am the JUICEman3941. That is my PSN tag. Feel free to hit me up and friend me on here if you'd like, or if you just want to have a friendly chat or debate. It's whatever you want to do. Hit me up there. This is episode 19 of the Gaming Roundtable. 2 companies, 2 problems, and as always, gamers, cheers and good gaming.